9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Solved Online, the online business information solution service through legislation.gov.uk for all clients at all levels, problems. And today's topic, yes, Solved Online. Again, health protection, coronavirus, international travel, legislation updates. So we're going to go through that. Again, it will be a 15-minute program. And Solved Online YouTube platform is to report on business solutions through legislation.gov.uk by reviewing and highlighting past and present acts. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help build a global online business solution system on accountability, sustainability, and transparency in growth and protection. The motto Solved Online knows that there's no business like the king's business. Yeah, again, we provide solutions, discovery, document, proof, show demonstration, direction, instruction, and accuracy. Like I say, let's get to that 1,000 subscribers to start that online webinar, seminar, and tutorial. Teach everyone how to research like a solicitor, barrister, and lawyer. Again, Solved Online is the media and research department for the House of Lancelot. So again, we're going to go over to legislation.gov.uk because that's the place. Again, parliamentary business is life business. So to really understand what's going on in your life, you have to understand again parliamentary business because it's very important. A lot of decisions being made each and every day, and we need to be up to date so that we could be able to have some sense of understanding, because we need certain information to go forward. Like at this moment, like I say, there is, international travel restriction, and we need to understand what's going on with international travel restriction, people. So we're gonna again go forward now and check it. So legislation.gov.uk. Remember, this is the #1 place for any information like I say, that really make changes and really affects people day in and day out. So we're going to go to legislation published recently, and again, there's no UK statutory instruments. So again, that's what I usually do it on. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the actual main topic, which is international travel. So we're going to make sure that we're going to put all the information out there so everyone can understand what is the big issue in terms of international travel, and how and why certain individual can't travel. So it's very important to know, people, because these are the things that are a part of the restriction, are a part of our everyday questions. So we're gonna go now, and again, as you can see, usually, this is the whole actually PDF, the whole regulation, and this regulation starts the whole actual movement in terms of international travel restriction. And again, it's the health protection coronavirus international travel England regulation 2020. So England is usually the first nation to roll out their actual plans, and then again the protocol goes along after that. Or you could say go back to the United Nations, go back to Rome. But as you see, they part of the protocol, and this is their protocol again, which falls in line with many other nations. So we need to understand that it will fall in line with many other nations. So look, as you can see, it says the health protection coronavirus international travel England regulation 2020, and it was from 2020. So I have to open the whole PDF to see this, people, because I'm going to put some, because I did review it beforehand, so I'm going to put some, because you may not understand the document straight away, so I'm going to put some ideas to really give you an understanding. Like I say, it's a statutory instrument, and it's a public health England, and again, it says the public, the health protection coronavirus international travel England regulation. And as you can see, look, this is the most important thing that you really need to understand about this. So where the regulation is coming from. So it says the Secretary of State makes the following regulations in exercise of the powers conferred by Section 45B, 45F2, and 45P2 of the Public Health Control of Disease Act 1984. So as you can see, the Control of Disease Act, has a lot of powers in terms of what is going on right now. So it's going to go into the general, as you can say, citation, commencement, and application, and it shows you again this one only applies to England because Scotland and the rest of the nation has their protocol that is copying this exact document. Yeah, and then shows you that's what it calls. And if you go down, you see it talks about child means a person under the age of 18, and this is interpretation. And it should also show you common travel area, and this way you can find that in the Immigration Act 1971. And it talks about coronavirus means severe acute respiratory syndromes, symptoms or syndromes, coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2. So as you can see, this is the whole breakdown of what the coronavirus is. And it shows the next one, the coronavirus disease means COVID-19, official designation of the disease, which could be caused by coronavirus. As you can see, severe acute respiratory syndrome can cause coronavirus disease. So it's, as you can see, that's what it is. And it shows you the immigration officers, and again, a passenger locator form, because you have to fill out a passenger locator form, so they're locating everyone now. And isolation, so self-isolation, and it tells you what self-isolation means. And look, so now part two very important, because part 2 really shows you again the obligation on persons arriving in England and others. So obligation arriving in England and others. So, and it goes requirement to provide information. So, in this part is about requiring to provide information, and it's very important, and it tells you again just about traveling mainly, and again we're talking about the obligation, and it's really all to do with again the passengers locator form, so you need to understand that. And let me go down because it's a lot of information, so going down, but really, like I say, the obligation of the actual passenger persons is to isolate again 14 days usually, like it says, and it shows you requirement to self-isolate, and this is the requirement. Again, shows you arriving in England from outside the common travel area, and the same thing. So it's whether when you're arriving in England, and it could be the same for other nations when you are departing. So usually, as you can see, it really gives you the reason. I'm gonna keep going down, and I also have part 3. You have the enforcement, and this is very important. The enforcement for requirement of to self-isolate, and they're gonna give you. And they show there's even fines in here. It shows you even fine, and again, authorized person means again a constable or a person designated by the Secretary of State for the purpose of this regulation. So it's the regulation, and it's penalties, offenses and penalties. Talking about a person who, without reasonable excuse, contravenes a requirement in Regulation 3, contravene a requirement in Regulation 4, or without reasonable excuse, contravene a requirement in or imposed under Regulation 5, commits an offense. So as you can see, so you usually go, but it doesn't really, like I say, give you the reason. Now you're gonna see more in terms of how they write out the actual regulation, and it goes fixed penalty and notice, and it tells about the fixed penalty notice really, and then it shows it goes up from up to £100 even to £3,200. That's how much penalty notice. But there's some important things that you need to know. And again, the prosecution It goes, proceedings for an offence under these regulations may be brought to the Crown Prosecution Service and any person designated by the Secretary of State. Very important, and it shows you again information. So this is part 4, information sharing and power to use and dispose information. So like I say, with the actual the passenger locator form, they share the information. And again, very much like it's so important because just to realize how the segregation and all these things happen in classism happen. Watch, just to give you a full understanding, because like I say, self-incrimination, you could have self-incrimination a part of the form, and part 5 is review and the expiry of regulation. It shows you 21 days until review, and then they could add forward it. And again, and it says again, these regulations expire at the end of the period of 12 months, beginning with the date on which they come into force. As you can see, 12 months again, and it goes, the expiry of these regulations does not affect the validity of anything done pursuant to these regulations before they expire. So, well, look, very important. These are the things that they ask for: passenger information, personal details of the passenger, and look, add full name, sex, date of birth. So this is like usually normal when you're doing international traveling. You do get asked all of these things, but like I say, I'm going to show you the significance of the regulation for international travel. So look right now. So this is schedule. So we go into the schedule of the act of the regulation, and it goes again, person not required to comply with regulation 3 and 4. So regulation 3 and 4 was all about quarantining, isolation, again, giving information. And when it says, again, regulation 3 and 4, it actually literally pinpoints the actual where the regulation is, just to understand where regulation is. So again, this will be regulation 6. So when you have a strong point, like with number 6, with making it bold, so this is regulation 5. So, and that was the enforcement part. So you can see what regulation meaning, again, just to give you an understanding of what, again, so again, requirements to self-isolate, that's regulation 4. So regulation 3 would be the next one. So at least you can understand where we're going with the regulation. So, but this is so important. It said it's persons. So some reason there is people that are immune, have immunity, privilege over the virus, over everything. This is what it actually shows. This is what it shows there, and I'm gonna read through it because it's very important. Again, yeah. So it shows you, yeah. Again, person not required to comply with regulations 3 or 4. So if it's 3 tells you about testing, 3 tells you about testing, and again, 4 tells you about isolation. So people that don't have to follow this. So look, a person, P, who is a member of a diplomatic mission in the United Kingdom, a person of a consulate post in the United Kingdom, an officer or a servant of an international organization, employed by an international organization as an expert or on a mission, a representative to an international organization, a representative at an international or a United Kingdom conference who is granted, again, privilege and immunity in the United Kingdom, again, a member of the official staff of a representative to an international body, organization. Like I say, it was pure, again, international, pure diplomatic, missionaries, just again, official body. And also it shows you clearly down the bottom a member of the family forming part of the household of a person falling within any of paragraphs A to E. So again, a member of the family. So again, It is showing you. So usually now you're saying, like I said, everyone seems like diplomat or anyone that's working for any international body, could be from wherever you are. Wherever you're in the country and you're working for the government, that means you don't really have those requirements. Those requirements is not again subjected to you. So it's a lot of, I would see, it's prejudice to, like I say, segregate, from for a class of individuals. They're not again immune, like they're not immune to, what's going on. So again, it tells you keep going. The relevant head of it, of the mission, con, consulate post in international organization or conference office represent rep, respond or representing a foreign territory in the United. So everyone usually that have, a part of a big body, they be able to come in and out at will. So, and it shows you again consulate career, and it shows you Geneva Convention or on consular relations of 1963. So like I say, tell you diplomats, again, international body. So really remember, again, give you all of the people them that are allowed, crown servants or government contractors. So really and truly, it's just people that are tied into the government body that are allowed to travel and do works. So it's definitely a big segregation. So it shows you again more person not required to comply with regulation 4. I'll show you regulation 4, and it shows the bus driver. So as you can see, again, so all of these people, like there are a lot. There's a lot of majority, at least 30%, 30% or 20% that are able to still move from one area to the other. Again, and they are allowed to do certain things under without the restriction. So again, things. That's why things not gonna really stop to really make sense of anything that's going on, because people still are allowed on a mass scale still to travel and interact with different bodies. And like I say, it does get things get carried. Look, public service vehicle, all just every single you know body that work within the government area. And you see, look, keeps going. Civil aviation inspectors, like I say, just surveyors of ships. So there's a lot of details of who is allowed to, to be exempt from, these restrictions. Look, keep going. Essential or emergency workers. Obviously, that is a part of, you know, do having people like that, because we need that emergency workers and things like that. But as you can see, like, there's a lot of people that still can maneuver and still get in contact with people day in and day out. So, you know, they should be the ones that are mostly tested, but they are not. They're not able. They are not obliged to comply with these regulations. So they will never be detected. So as you can see, there's so much more. Agency inspector, all of these things. It could be nuclear. But there's so much. Like I say, look, space craft, um, space station, space site. All of it. Just so much different people that do work in different levels of government. So for the majority, even like I say, persons that are traveling for medical medicines for human use. Also, but there's still people that can come, like I say, sponsors, qualified persons. So as you can see, so there's a lot of things which don't make the situation easier. Hard to it makes it so difficult to even comply, because look, it's seasonal workers, um, edible area cultures, and like these are people that do the farming and those things. So, and really that's it, because like I said, there's a lot of people that is not required for, these regulations, or not, that doesn't have to apply to these regulations when you look at it. So it's very important to understand that it's a segregation thing, because you're trying to say you have to be a part of a certain group to really to be able to be exemption or be immune, because as you see, there's private privilege and immunity. So if they're saying if you are a diplomat, then you're immune. So now the whole point is, then okay, let's everyone be a diplomat, then everyone's going to be immune and do again different missions to different countries. So there's no holidays, but you can go on a mission. These things like that. But still, you're still again going to contact with people. Yeah, the time. Really appreciate for passing through. Again, that was someone request to do this update on the international again travel, again the health protection coronavirus, and you see like it's a big segregation that's going on. So that's why it's really about what you know, just like what Ari mentioned. Really about what you know. You know what I'm saying, to do to really get by in these times. So, but to really to get by is to really look at what they're doing in terms of requirements and who is required, and you can see the different types of bodies that are you know not exempt or not are exempt from being obliged to quarantine, the details, whatever the situation is, they're not obliged. So very important to know. I'm gonna continue on Monday with all again any new updates that takes place, because there was none today. So again, this is solved online, the online business information solution service through legislation.gov.uk for all clients at all levels. Problems, and today again was again solved online, the health protection coronavirus international travel legislation updates. Again, solved online YouTube platform is to report on business solutions through legislation.gov.uk by reviewing and highlighting past and present acts. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help build a global online business again system on accountability, sustainability, and transparency in growth and protection. The motto solved online knows that there is no business like the king's business. Like I say, give thanks and praise and appreciation, everyone. And again, have a great weekend, and see you back on Monday for more updates on again legislations and business solutions. Appreciate it.